let's talk about motivation. And I'm not going to be here to motivate you. I just actually want to talk about being motivated for specific things because I think motivation is um, specific, right? Motivated to write, motivated to do your job at work, motivated to spend time with your family, motivated to make a YouTube video, motivated to do anything really because I think that you have to be you have to want to do the thing you want to do, and if you're an adult, which you probably are, you're motivated. You like doing things that you just feel like doing, and if you don't feel like doing them, you don't do it. And the only times that you do things that you do feel like doing are things like that require your livelihood, which is like your job, for example. You show up to work on time, you get the work done, so you get paid. Um, the other way, the other thing that also happens is habit. So you do things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you do them out of habit. You've built things into your life, like the clients that I train, the few that I train. Even if they don't want to work out, they've put me in their schedule, so I train them on a regular basis. So even if they don't feel like working out, they still work out. So that's sort of like how you build motivation, is by having it scheduled. But I wanted to talk about this because I learned this really cool thing about putting yourself into an emotional state. Actually, I remember hearing something like this from Tony Robbins. You want to put yourself into a state, like an excited state. Uh, Here's a pretty good example of what you can do. You can use right away. Like if you're nervous to meet somebody, or if you're someone that you want to make a good impression on, one of the best ways to make a good impression is by the moment you see them, is that you look at them and you smile, and you just think in your head you're seeing an old friend, like your best friend from high school, or your or maybe a family cousin or someone you haven't seen in a really long time, and you just have this like really warm smile, and you want to give them a hug, but it would be awkward, so you shake their hand. And just like me saying that, I don't know if you're watching the video, watching my face, you can see how my facial expression sort of matches what I'm talking about. And it's kind of like magic, honestly, because I was not expecting that to happen. Like I already feel my state changing because I said that. I was imagining like, I don't know. When I was a kid, I'm a kid of the '90s, so one of the things, we didn't have internet, right? Not until later. But the point is, I have a cousin, and it would come back. They were in the military. They would come, and we would play. I just remember seeing them just being so happy. So if you look at people like your warm friend, you can make a really good first impression, which is sort of off topic about what the title of this video was supposed to be, which is let's talk about motivation. But the thing was that I learned today that I wanted to share and talk about was that if you want to get motivated to do something, in my case, write or make a video, you would watch a video, watch a scene from a movie, or you would watch a scene from a movie, or maybe a motivational video that gets you pumped up, right? And what I notice is that and one of the things I learned from this video is there are three things that are very powerful feelings. And the first one is anger, right? If you remember, think about why anger is so powerful. Just look at my last few videos. The video with the most views was about dislike, right? There were actually two videos, one dislike and one regarding dislikers, and that one got the most views, at least with these style of videos. And it's because of all that negativity, and there's anger in there. There's already presupposed anger in the video, or some sort of discontentment, right? So anger is a very strong emotion, but I don't know if I want to make an angry video, not before going to bed anyway. And then there's probably the video you're probably looking for is to feel powerful, right? Like I'm asking you, what videos make you powerful? Like who are your favorite speakers, or maybe actually not favorite speakers, but specific videos, or maybe specific scenes in movies that you can share with me. I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a comment, or you can send me an email, Ryan Saplin@gmail.com, RyanSaplan@gmail.com, because I want to be able to watch something that gives me power, and then be able to like be in that state of mind to talk to you. Because I think feeling powerful, because think about this: if I'm able to make you feel powerful, make you feel motivated, that means I know how to make me feel motivated. And a lot of the time, I'm the type of person that just does things. Like I'll just do the job, even if I don't want to do it. To me, I'm sort of that disciplined person. I may not be able to do it in the best way possible, but I will do the job. I'll work out. I'll go to work. I'll show up on time. I'm just one of those consistent type of people. But I'm not always like that person that's just full of energy, and I wish I was. And I think a lot of time people watch videos like this, or they try to find a way. Well, two reasons. One is they connect, right? Connect with another human being with similar feelings, similar philosophies. But the other thing too is to get motivated, right? I think that's really what when you connect with people, but you want to connect in a very genuine way, because a lot of the time when you watch someone who's motivational, that maybe someone you're not very familiar with or you don't connect with very well. It could be someone famous, but they just don't connect with you. Some people kind of know who I am. I mean, as far as like who watch my videos, so you connect with me. You know that I'm a trainer. I mean, so there's some sort of commonality there. So that's being powerful. And then the third thing is grateful. How to feel grateful. And honestly, like a lot of where my strength comes from when it comes to motivation or feeling is really from a dark place. This is kind of going for a weird turn. I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it because it's just, I don't know. I'm just a kind of a dark person, I guess. But just kind of think of the person that you care about the most. It could be your husband, your wife, could be a child, a kid, and then you just, imagine losing them, right? Then finding out they're gone, they pass. And then even the mere thought might make you feel terrible, right? But they're not, they're here, they're fine, And what that feeling is, it's gratitude. That's a feeling of, wow, they're here still, and I get to see them. Just even me telling you about it makes me feel this sort of relief that my kids are sleeping and then my wife is downstairs, and and that kind of thing. It's almost like you can't really. It's hard to be grateful for what you have until the moment that you think that it might be possible that you could lose it. I mean, that's really what it means to take things for granted. And I bring that up because it's something that you have to practice every day, like a lot of people who are positive, a lot of people who are motivated, a lot of people who exercise, a lot of people who are very good at business, they practice it every day. I'm a type of, again, I say this again, like I'm the type of person who's fairly disciplined, that I'll just get the job done that needs to be done. I'm self-motivated. However, I don't have the motivation to always be at my best, right? And that's sort of like something that is, I feel like it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy, but I mean, it feels like it's complicated, right? I'm sure you have those days where you're like in the best, most amazing mood, and you just feel so good, and you're just excited, and you're full of life. You got a full rest of sleep, and you're eating well, you're exercising, you're just motivated, you feel great, right? And I know there's got to be a way to feel like that on a regular basis. And this video is actually turning out to be a lot better than I thought it would be, because I wasn't even going to make one because I'm really tired. I'll bring this up because I'm thinking, how can you be at your best all the time? And the reality is you really can't. So again, that's that kind of dark part of me that kind of comes out, that negativity. That realistic Ryan, I guess, which I'm sure you guys can appreciate. But think for a moment. This is kind of how I view it anyway. And this is like a mental model of how I view a lot of things. If you're at your best every day, you have to be better every day. And a lot of the time, you at your best is like someone else being at their worst, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like that, someone is warming up with your 1 rep max, right? That kind of thing. And that's just a whole new level of skill, transcendence of whatever it is that you do for a living. Um, I don't know. I got a lot of things going through my head right now with just like, I feel like I've had this creativity going, and if you're hanging on with me, I really appreciate it. But like, how to be at your best every day. I talked to you about like having a video, watching a video that kind of gets you in a good mental state, you know, or get you in the mental state for the thing that you're going to create or you're going to work on. Gratitude, being grateful for people in your life, the things in your life, the opportunities you have, feeling powerful, and motivated. And then of course, what's the other thing? Anger, right? Which I actually haven't talked a whole lot about yet. Anger it's like a double-edged sword, because I get a lot of fuel from anger. It's this I remember last year, when I'm trying to get to this online business thing going, and I would just get angry at myself because I'm not working hard enough. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you really have to make this work, Ryan. Your family is depending on you. So like mentally, I pick myself up, and I just have this kind of this feeling of anger that just sort of says, "Get your shit together, Ryan." Have some self-respect and get it going. Kind of weird, right? Like, and this is the amazing thing of what it means to be human, is that we have all these different emotions of life, like anger, sadness, happiness, contempt, disgust. I'm naming like the what's it called? That cartoon or that Pixar cartoon or movie, animated film. I can't even remember the name. Anyways, think about it for a moment. Like, you have all these emotions, and as human beings, because our inner lives and our outer lives are such a because we in a sense we all live in our own different worlds, right? Our own head, you know what I mean? But we have this separation, of like. Man, this is freaking... Okay. Sorry. So you have this separation of different worlds. Like I'm in my head, you're in your head. And what we do is we create this oversimplification of life. This person did this because of that. This person said this thing because they are that. We oversimplify situations. And a lot of the time when you have a collective community, like in politics, religion, that kind of thing, you kind of have to like pick a community, and you have to sort of, you're stuck. There's too many people. So you have to follow like this thing called democracy, or, being a Republican or a Democrat, right? So we have oversimplified when actually everything is just so much more complicated than that. Even people, right? I mentioned this before. There are very few people that you will really know very well in your life. And even to the point, and even then, to some points, you're just not going to know them as well as you think you do, because our lives our human beings are very that much complex. And I don't know if you're following along with what I'm saying. Is like, getting distracted by all these messages. When you follow along with what I'm saying, is that we oversimplify so many things, yet life is so complicated. When you take the time to really understand another human being, when you take the time to maybe give people a chance to see their point of view, because a lot of times some people's point of view is disgusting. I mean, that's just the truth. It's disgusting to you, might be disgusting to me, and right, wrong, it doesn't matter. You just don't like it. It doesn't fit within your values. But you take the moment to try to see someone else's point of view, the whole world completely changes. And I have no idea where this is coming from. Actually, no, I do. I was listening to a book. It was called The Everything Store. It's about Jeff Bezos and Bezos of Amazon, and he was talking about the narrative fallacy, about how the human beings, we oversimplify. We look for... Actually, the narrative fallacy was actually explained by Nassim Taleb in a book called The Black Swan, who talked a lot about, how human beings create this narrative fallacy. This happened because of this happened because of this happened. Like it was meant to be like fate, you know. And most of life is random, It's hard to say that. It's hard to believe, especially if you grew up Christian, believing in God, that it's all random, right? Because that is the most, I don't know, lots of ways, just such a cold, black and white way of looking at things. Like you just got lucky, right? Or it just happened. You just won the lotto, or you were just born in America. Or you became successful because you worked so hard, which is probably true, but there are other factors. Luck is such a big factor. And I say this because I just have to remind myself of how unimportant I am in this world. And I mean that in a very not negative way, just in a way where like, hey, look, I'm not this big deal. I'm just this person that's living in this life, that's trying to, express himself in a way that gets him, that I can share something that I'm trying to figure out in my head. I mean, ultimately what I want is I want to be able to share something positive and something that can change the world and, all those like kumbaya kind of shit. But I don't really have that, I don't have that. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm missing. And I don't know if I'm ever going to find it, where I'm going to be this person that's going to be like, this is it. This is how you get there, right? This is, like I'm like Jeff Zuckerberg. I was gonna say Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos or I don't know, the Schmidt of Google, Steve Jobs of Apple. These technological business or Martin Luther King or Abraham Lincoln, and it's just like we study these people in history for whatever for the things that they accomplish, and we're all trying to make our mark in the world. And I wish I. So we want to make a story for ourselves but life is more complicated than that. And I hope I didn't spin you out too much, but the video's gone way longer than I thought it would be. But I wanted to say thank you for listening. If you took anything away, please write down something in the comments, because I don't know where this is actually supposed to go. But I do feel better. So thank you for listening. Thanks for watching, and have a good day or good night.